Back then was people can't speak and can't hear today. They can't say nothing good about nobody when they speak. They can't hear the truth when somebody's telling it to them. Sometimes you just got to stop up your ears to keep from hearing all of the mess that's going on. Ask Jesus to loose the string on your tongue so that you can tell them what thus saith the Lord. Mark 8:22 through 25, and he cometh again to Bethsaida, and they bring unto him a blind man and besought him to touch him. And when he took the blind man by the hand, he led him out of town. That's that private examination room again. He led him out of town, and when he had spit on his eyes, he put his hands on him, and he asked him if he saw aught. And he looked up and he said, I see men as trees walking. After that, he put his hands upon his eyes and made him look up, and he was restored and saw every man clearly. You see, Jesus is using the spit, the medical ointment that was inside of him to touch people that was in need of a healing hand. But in this situation, you have to understand that when Jesus performed these miracles, he didn't do it in front of everybody. That's right. Even though he was in the middle of a crowd and people brought a whole bunch of people around him to see him, in these specific instances, he had to pull them away and have a conversation with them in that secret place. John 9:6-7 said, and when he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground and made clay of the spittle, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay, and said unto him, go wash in the pool of Siloam, which by interpretation is sin. He went his way therefore and washed and came seeing. Here you have Jesus using spit again to open the eyes of somebody so they can see, not just with their eyes, but they can see with their heart. And after he had spit on the ground and anointed them, he told him to go somewhere and wash. That's right. You see, it didn't happen right then on the spot. It didn't happen right there in front of everybody. Jesus had to get that person into a place, and they had to be able to have enough faith to receive their healing. And as I'm standing here, God just put this in my spirit. Jesus said, the Bible says the man was blind, right? Jesus spit on his eyes and anointed on the ground and anointed his eyes with clay, right? Then Jesus told him to go wash, right? How he get to the pool? How he get to the pool? He had enough faith and trust, and what Jesus had did for him was going to heal him, and he knew that he could be delivered of that disease or that sickness of blindness or that issue that he had. Church, what I'm trying to say to you today is that if you got enough faith to trust in God, it doesn't matter what God gives you to get your healing, you're going to trust and believe in it. Know that it's from Jesus and that he's right there with you, because he's a doctor who's never lost a patient yet. When you go and get washed in the blood of the Lamb, you can come away seeing some things that you've never seen before. When you get washed in the blood of the Lamb and you get anointed by Jesus, you can see people as trees walking and maybe not understand what that's going on at the time, but then when you look up to heaven, you can get a better understanding of what's going on. In all of these situations, Jesus was providing treatment. And the beautiful thing about it was the people came to him. You see, a lot of times we want Jesus to come see about me. God, come to me. God, just stop by here right now. I can't get out right now. I just need you to come see about me. God can look at you and tell you the same thing he told Job. Where were you? I see where you're going. Where were you when I created the foundations of the earth? Where were you when I laid all of this out and on this land for you to have in abundance? Where were you? All you got to do is realize that I am God. I am God all by myself. I sit high and I look low. It ain't a problem that you got that's too big for me. It ain't a situation that you're going through that I don't know about. It don't matter what you're dealing with out in the world. It don't matter what you're dealing with on your job, and it don't even matter what you're dealing with in the church, because it's all mine. I made it for you. All you got to do is dress it and keep it and understand the covenant that I have with you. See, once you understand your place in the equation, you'll realize how your help can come to you, how you can have an open heart and an open mind to receive it, and then you can be better off in the end than you were in the beginning. All right. Yes, sir. That's going to bring me to my third point. Yes. The doctor gives you a recovery plan. The doctor gives you a recovery plan. Jesus told the people in Matthew 11:28-30, he said, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart. And ye shall find rest unto your souls, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light." You see, the recovery plan here is you got to understand that you can't do it by yourself. That's right. That's right. Jesus said, "Come unto me." And in this, he didn't just call a specific group of people. He didn't call all the people that had good jobs and said, "Y'all come over here first." He didn't call the people that had fancy cars and big homes and said, "Well, y'all come on down here first." He didn't call black folks or white folks and say, "Y'all just come on down here first." He said, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden." That means all of us are laboring in this life. All of us are heavy laden with something that we got going on. Jesus said, "Come unto me and I will give you rest." The kind of rest he's talking about, you can't get it when you lay down in your bed. The kind of rest he's talking about, you can't get it when you take some medicine that knock you out and put you to sleep. The kind of rest that he's talking about is going to make you learn some things and make you grow in him. Because he said, "Take my yoke upon you and learn of me." He didn't say you had to learn about yourself. He said you needed to learn of me. Because if you learn a little bit more about Jesus, you know everything you need to know about yourself. He said, "For I am meek and I am lowly in heart, and you shall find rest unto your soul." There's a lot of people that's going around now that say, "Well, why you look so tired today?" And you can tell them, "Oh, I had about 8 or 10 hours of sleep." They'll tell you, "Oh, well, you got too much sleep." Oh, no, that ain't what's going on. I got some things going on in my mind, so I laid down to rest, but I wasn't able to get no good rest. But God is trying to tell you right here that if you come unto him, all of you that are laboring or heavy laden, if you come to him, he'll give you some rest, because he's a counselor that will listen to all of your problems. He will tell you exactly what it is you need to know about the situation that you're going through. And he ain't never gave you no bad advice. All you have to do is open up your ears so you can hear what thus saith the Lord. As a matter of fact, Jesus said, "He who has an ear to hear, let him hear." You see, the problem we have a lot of times is we do more listening than hearing. And in doing so, we miss out on the move of God, because he already told you what it is you need to do. But because you know more than everybody else, you want to do it your way. You want to do it when you want to do it and how you want to do it, and mess around and find yourself in a worse situation than you was when you started out. God has given you a recovery plan to salvation. In order to get there, you have to realize that you have to come to Jesus, because it is bigger than you. Romans 10:9 said, "If you confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus, and you shall believe in thine heart that God has raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved." This is a recovery plan for being saved, because we can't save ourselves. You see, a lot of times we want to try to save everybody else, and in doing so, we make their situation worse, and because we want to take all the credit for helping somebody out.
Yes, sir.
You know, I helped Brother Henry out yesterday. I saw him. He couldn't. You know, he had surgery on the shoulder. He couldn't even get dressed. I had to go get him dressed and bathe him. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't get credit for doing what you're supposed to do. Amen. Children, you come home and I'm not saying that don't make good grades in school, but you come home, "Mama, Daddy, I made good grades in school." You're supposed to make good grades in school. "Mama, Daddy, I cleaned up my room and I did my chores." You're supposed to clean up. And let me help you out there. It ain't your room. Amen. You just taking up space right now. It ain't your room. These ain't your toys, but you ain't got no job to help pay for nobody's nothing. I wish my kids might get me out, go in there and slam their door. Man, that door be off the hinges somewhere. And they'd be on a pallet in the middle of the living room. Amen. But I'm saying this is when we have, as parents, we can't make concessions for, oh, that's just a baby. No, that's a child. The Bible teaches you in the book of James, it said, if you're old enough to know good from evil, or right from wrong, and you do it, to you it is a sin. You ain't got to teach a child a lie. They'll do it all by themselves. Amen. Ain't nobody in the house but you and the kid. Who broke that? I don't know. Just know it's the same thing when you mess up and you dealing with this disease of sin in our earthly body. When you make that mistake and God looked at you and said, Adam, where art thou? Oh, you can't hide from God when God's gonna call you out, because the Bible teaches us that night and day are the same unto Him.
Yes, sir. Yes,
you can't say I hid myself because I was naked. Who told you you was naked?
Yes, sir. Who told you?
We've been in trouble ever since the fall of man, and we some of us are just refusing to get it right because we're so hard-headed and hard-hearted. But if you go see the doctor, if you understand that the doctor is in the house and that he's able to see and hear and diagnose your problems in your situation and realize that he's able to heal and cure all manner of sickness and disease, but most importantly, the disease called sin, he can take it and wash you in the blood of the Lamb. The recovery plan is there. Confess it in your mouth and believe it in your heart. Proverbs 3:5 says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart.
That's right.
And lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. You see, God is not only providing a diagnosis and a treatment plan and a recovery plan, He's also providing a cure. You see, the Bible teaches us in 1 Peter 4:8, it says, above all things have love amongst yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. See, you see, God is love. So if you can't operate in love, you can't get healed from your sin, or your sickness called sin. The Bible has to lay it out plain for us so we can understand that love should abound in us. Love your brother. The first and the greatest commandment, love the Lord with all thy heart and all thy soul and all thy might. And the second is like it. Love thy neighbor as thyself.
Yes, sir.
All the law and all the prophets hang on those two commandments. So if you can't keep the commandment of love, don't even worry about trying to keep the top 10, because you're going to miss up and come short on them anyway. You got more folks worried about trying to keep the 10 commandments and ain't trying to love on nobody. Be just like that young rich ruler. Well, what I got to do to have eternal life? Sell it. I kept all your commandments from my youth. I done did everything I was supposed to do, what they told me I should do from the time I was a little boy. Jesus said, sell all you have and follow me. You see, love will make you give up some earthly possessions. Love will make you give up some material things. Love will make you leave some stuff behind that you thought was important. Love will get you going in the right direction, because love came down to see about you, and love brought you out. And as the old song we used to sing said, when nothing else could help, love lifted me. God, I need you to come see about me right now, because I'm sick. I got some issues that I need you to help me deal with. God, I'm getting weak in my body. God says if you wait on the Lord, you're going to renew your strength. You're going to mount up with wings as eagles. You're going to run and not be weary. You're going to walk and you won't faint. God, I need you to come see about me right now. I don't know what kind of doctor you need, church, but if you need a cardiologist, the Bible says he's a heart fixer. If you need a psychologist, the Bible tells you he's a mind regulator. If you need a pulmonary specialist, the Bible will tell you he's the breath of life. If you need a nutritionist, the Bible will teach you that he's living water and the bread of life. If you need a hematologist, the Bible will teach you that his blood will wash you as white as snow. You see, my doctor is in the house today, and he's ready to see anybody that's ready to come down and be healed by him this morning. And you see, the doctor came down from 42 generations. You see, the doctor took on the form of a man and walked the earth for 33 years. You see, the doctor gave sight to the blind and cast out demons. You see, the doctor healed the sick and raised the dead. You see, the doctor caused the dumb to speak and the lame to walk. You see, the doctor had to do some things in order to be able to heal you and I today. You see, when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane praying, he was getting his mind right for the mission ahead. Because he said, Father, not my will, but your will. You see, when they whipped him all night long, he was doing the research for our sickness today. Because the Bible says, with his stripes, we are healed. And when they put the crown of thorns on his head, he was getting a little bit more understanding of what he had to do on the cross. Because he prayed, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. When they put the nails in his hands, that was the same hands that he laid on. He was writing out prescriptions for you and I today. He was helping us get better in our time of sickness. When he was healing all of those that they brought down to him. When they hung him high and stretched him wide, he was laying out on the operating table. And he was trying to get it ready for you to come to the cross so he can see about you. The Bible teaches us when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Lord will lift up a standard against him. Jesus said, if I be lifted up from the earth, I will draw all men unto me. When they pushed him in the side, the anesthesia started flowing out. Because it was blood and water that came forth. When he cried out it was finished, he was performing surgery right then because he had gave up the ghost. When they laid him in a borrowed tomb, he was sitting in the recovery room waiting to get healed right then because he took the sting of death away. Got him out the grave early that Sunday morning. With all power, heaven and earth in his hands. The doctor is in the house today. The doctor will see you right now. All you got to do is confess in your mouth, believe in your heart that Jesus is the Son of God, and you will be saved. There's a cure for sin today, and his name is Jesus. Do you know him today? Have you tried him today? Are you willing to come see him today? Don't try to beg him to come to where you are. Because if you got breath in your body and strengthen the activity of your limbs, get up and come on down to the house because he's waiting on you and I today. God provided a hospital on this earth because the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. Jesus performed surgery when he was on the cross. And the Holy Spirit is providing physical therapy so you can get stronger every day in Jesus. Because every round I go with God, get higher and higher. Don't let nothing stop you from being seen by the doctor. Be just like the man that was born with palsy. When Jesus was in the house, there wasn't no room for him to get in because of the press. They tore back the roof of the house, laid him down in the middle of the house so he can be seen by the doctor, so he can get his healing because his faith was strong enough to make him whole. The doctor is in today. Are you ready to be seen? Are you ready to lay aside all your problems? Are you ready to lay aside all your cares and concerns? Are you ready to be touched by the man that can do all things with faith? Are you ready to give it all to God and lay down all your problems in this whole world? Because God has a place just for you and I called glory. Do you know him today? Are you ready to be seen today? Are you ready to walk in your healing today? Do you want to be delivered today? Well, try Jesus. Because I'm telling you right now, little Jesus is more than the world can ever give.